More than 150 people will lose their jobs due to the permanent closure of Splot Market in Cardiff. The market has had very low income during the pandemic and was supposed to close down next month. But Cardiff Council have just extended the permission to stay open until September. Wiktoria Lewandowska reports.
Splot Market this morning, bringing many members of the local community together. The market operates as a car boot sale, offering a wide variety of items at a cheap price. In September, the market will give way to Willows High School, which will be moved from Tremorfa. Adela Hadjiu lives near the market. She says the closure would be a loss to the local community.
I think I would be sad because obviously there's a variety of stuff that you can find in here, and like I said before, they're all fairly cheap. They're not too expensive, and you can find fruits in here, vegetables, down to technology and electrics. So I feel like Splot Market has brought a lot of people together, and it would be sad if it closed.
This place is the main job for more than 150 people every Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. The future for them and their families will be uncertain from September onwards. Michael Kane has worked at the market for 5 years.
To be honest with you, it's quite distressing and quite upsetting really, because there is a whole community based around here. We have a lot of friends, a lot of traders, a lot of people come here. So yet again, it just takes out an outlet for the self-employed people around this area for them to be able to go and trade.
After negotiations with Cardiff Council, the market's management released a statement saying that they are likely to have the contract extended until September. Once knocked down, the plan is to move the Willows High School here in October. But the local community is still hopeful that the market will be able to use the school's premises on weekends. The council says the main problem is that Romney Street used to be a family street where there would be one car per household. Now it became a student street with up to 10 tenants per household, most of them having a car. Residents of Romney Street are being encouraged to cycle and use public transport, which would reduce the number of cars on the street. But they are not happy and want the council to do more. Wiktoria Lewandowska, Cardiff News Plus, Cateis.
Victoria, what is the council doing to help with this problem?
The council says they're currently working on a fully digital system that's supposed to send an automatic report to the council as soon as there's a car parked on a non-designated space or outside the permit area. That's obviously supposed to reduce the number of drivers that park in the wrong place. The council is also implementing many new cycle lanes across Cardiff, which is supposed to get the drivers on their bikes and make sure they cycle instead of driving a bit more. There are also many new buses and bus routes being put in place so that traveling around Cardiff is more convenient and drivers can use public transport more willingly.
Thank you, Victoria.
People in Cardiff Bay say they are worried about the disruption caused by the Red Dragon Centre being demolished. It will be knocked down in spring to make way for a new concert venue worth £500 million. Wiktoria Lewandowska reports.
Bowling is only one of the activities you can do on a daily basis at the Red Dragon Centre. It is also home to restaurants, a cinema and radio studios. Local residents will lose these places in spring when the building is knocked down. They're also likely to be disrupted by the construction work and the events in the new venue. Lee Fishbowl lives near the Red Dragon Centre.
It's not a good idea for what they're planning. And plus it's going to be loud, and it's going to be, there's going to be drunk people around the bay, and you don't think of the bay as somewhere where you're having loud concerts. You think of it as a nice relaxing place that you have a really nice view when you come to just walk along the shore, but it's going to be town centre packed full of drunk people, and I'm not looking forward to living next to that.
And it's also last orders for this bar in the Red Dragon Centre. But the owners and workers of other restaurants elsewhere in Cardiff Bay are happy. They expect to see more customers from spring onwards. Kane Griffiths works in Cozy Club restaurant near the Red Dragon Centre. He says the demolition should have a good impact on his restaurant.
It'll be definitely a good way, because during the time it's under construction, one, it's going to be busy, and two, it's going to be during spring and summer, which means the bay is packed during spring and summer anyways. So hopefully it'll just attract even more people to come down, get out of the Red Dragon Centre and put more money down into the actual bay.
Cardiff Council say the new arena will be a great addition to the city and will become a top tourist attraction. The new development is due to be completed in 2025.
This is Cardiff News Plus. Cardiff News Plus. News, sport and podcasts. This is Cardiff News Plus.
Good morning, you're listening to Cardiff News Plus. It's 11:30, I'm Wiktoria Lewandowska. President Biden says he wasn't calling for regime change in Russia when he said Putin cannot remain in power. His retracted comments he made during a speech in Warsaw in Poland on Saturday. After leaving a church service in Washington, the US leader couldn't avoid a question about his remarks that Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power. It comes ahead of peace talks in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine.
Mr. President, do you want Putin removed? Mr. President, were you calling for regime change?
No.
Public sector organizations in the UK are being urged to immediately review energy contracts with Russian and Belarusian companies. The government's asking bodies to consider switching suppliers following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Cabinet Office Minister Steve Barclay has issued a statement saying public money should not fund Putin's war machine. In China, the city of Shanghai has been divided in half for a two-part COVID lockdown. Authorities will roll out an experimental testing regime after battling a new surge in cases. People on either side of the city's Huangpu River will be told to stay home for 5 days at a time to allow for mass screening, and all public transports being suspended. In the UK, a man's been charged with murder after a 40-year-old woman was stabbed to death in East London. Qayyum Mia was also charged with burglary and 2 counts of fraud by false representation. Police were alerted on Thursday after mother of 2, Yasmin Begum, didn't show up to collect her children from school. Wales is scrapping self-isolation rules and the legal requirement to wear a mask in shops and on public transport from today onwards. In response to rising cases driven by a subvariant of Omicron, the Welsh government said it would keep some, but not all, of the COVID rules. Eluned Morgan, the Welsh health minister, says they'll be moving to strong guidance on coronavirus rather than making it a legal requirement.
In particular, when it comes to self-isolation, if you've got COVID, you should be self-isolating. And that actually has been the situation in Scotland all along. They haven't had a legal requirement to self-isolate, but the guidance is very strong. So we're just moving to guidance, and we hope that people will respect that.
Time for the weather. It will be a mostly dry day with some bright spells developing. That's all from us for now. Join us again at 12 o'clock.
This is Cardiff News Plus.
Good morning, this is Cardiff News Plus. It's 11 o'clock, I'm Wiktoria Lewandowska. Wales has announced plans to become a smoking-free nation by the end of the decade. Earlier this year, smoking was banned in playgrounds, school grounds and hospital grounds. While some appreciate the government's move, others believe that their personal choice must be respected. Shivangi Pandey has more details.
Shivangi Pandey, Cardiff News Plus.
That's all from us. Join us for our next bulletin at 1:30. Goodbye.